Well, in 2006, the state legislature directed the Oklahoma Water Resources Board to update the state's comprehensive water plan. The update, which began in January of 2007, includes in-depth technical studies and, for the first time, substantial public input. Joining me now is the person who's been responsible for organizing that public input, Jeri Fleming from the Oklahoma Water Resources Research Institute. Well, Jeri, every time we go out and do a water story, I'm astounded by how complicated the issue is.
It is very complicated, and sometimes it seems like the more that you know, especially about water law and the different interest in water, the more complicated it can get.
Now, you're in charge of the public input part of this. Let's talk a little bit about the public conversation. Where did it start and where's it going? It
started with 42 local input meetings across the state of Oklahoma, where we invited anyone to come and just share their concerns about Oklahoma water. We took those and prioritized them at some regional meetings held across the state in 11 COG regions, actually. And then from that, we held a series of planning workshops where we had people come up with some management alternatives, some strategies. How should water be managed in the state? And then we just last week concluded a town hall conducted for us by the Oklahoma Academy for State Goals, just special on water alone, where they've developed a bunch of recommendations that we'll then give to the Oklahoma Water Resources Board for their consideration and inclusion in the plan.
Good. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that academy.
Well, it was a 2.5-day discussion where they came up with, at this point, it was 51 recommendations. I'm not sure all of them will necessarily move forward because not everybody agreed necessarily on everything, but some of the more important issues that were talked about were how do we increase water storage, how do we get more water. One of the big issues that seemed to be common amongst the groups that talked were the issues with red cedar and salt cedar, and how do we start working to, if not eradicate them, at least manage them in a way that we can help sustain more water within the state. How do we increase water supply for municipal use? Education and conservation was a big issue. And then the issue of our surface and groundwater. Do we manage them the same, or do we continue to manage them differently? And there was really no consensus on that, but what they pretty much all agreed on was we need to study them more. We need to know more about our water resources.
So what happens from here?
From here, the Academy will finish up the report that they developed, and that'll be sent out to everyone and presented to the Water Resources Board. And then the Water Resources Board, who's ultimately responsible for writing the plan, will combine that with the technical work that's being done, their own recommendations for policy changes or their policy kind of recommendations, other agencies' recommendations, and they'll develop a plan.
And there is a website where everyone can go to see all of these recommendations.
Yes, they can go to okwaterplan.info. We have all of the comments that we heard across the state, all the results from each meeting. The town hall result will probably be available in 2 or 3 weeks. And it has links to the Water Board's website, which has the technical work, information about all the technical studies that are being done.
And ultimately, we will have a water plan come 2012?
2012, it'll be given to the legislature, and then ultimately the governor in the spring of 2012.
All right, Jeri, good luck with it all.
All right, thank you.
Now, we do have much more on water on our website. Just go to okresin.com, where we have a value-added segment.